Today's guest built a $120 million company at 21 years old.
A student kicked out of Columbia University. He is Roy Lee.
Roy Lee.
Hello, my name is Roy Lee. I'm 22 years old and I run a $100 million AI startup with my best friends living in the heart of New York City. Here is the Roy Lee method to getting rich. What is the Roy Lee method? The Roy Lee method has a few requirements. It requires that you are young. By young, I mean like under the age of 28. It requires that you are sufficiently brain rotted, meaning that you actually spend probably more than 2 hours a day scrolling TikTok or Instagram Reels. It requires that you have an IQ probably over 115. I don't think you have to be the most smartest genius in the world, but I do think that you can't be retarded for this method. And I think that you need to have some fucking balls and allow yourself to be okay with other people thinking that you're completely retarded. So those are the requirements to achieving the Roy Lee method of getting rich. And specifically, the Roy Lee method involves making a lot of money very early on with software subscription-based products. There's a lot of ways to get rich. You know, to be rich is actually quite easy. To live like you have all the freedom and all the luxuries and all the glory in the world, you really only need something like a few $1 million liquid. And there's so many ways to get to a few mil, you know, pick any career, stick with it for 20 years and you'll probably get a few mil unless you decided to pick a like fucking cashier at McDonald's. You know, like generally most management consultants will get there after a long, arduous 5 years in their career. The only thing is nobody wants to be rich when I'm 40. Like when I'm 40, my life is over. Like I don't want to be rich when I'm 40. I don't want to spend my 20s and 30s having no fucking money. The Roy Lee method dictates that you make money quick because I don't want money when I'm old, fat, bald, and shit. And if you actually think about it and you ignore all the noise online from these like fake super rich kids driving around in luxury rented cars, and you actually investigate how are people making money online, how are people making a few $1 million before the age of, you know, like 25, there's only a few ways. And the Roy Lee method very specifically is the way of getting rich with software subscription-based products. I say software products really specifically because the alternative is like a hardware or a physical product. And I always advise people, I've made videos on this before, hardware products are just not going to print you a fuck ton of money. The margins are bad. It takes a lot of operating costs. It takes so much space. To actually make $5 million as a clothing brand owner, for example, you probably got to sell upwards of $100 million of clothes. That's really fucking hard. To make $5 million as a software owner, you know, like you just kind of got to sell probably like $6 million of your software if you do it right. That's comparatively much easier. Now, requirement one of the Roy Lee method is that you must be young, under the age of 28, and I guess the second requirement is that you must be sufficiently brain rotted. The reason why this is such an important requirement is because when you are young, you actually don't have that many advantages over older people. There's not many enterprises or sectors of business that you know a lot about, but you actually do have one gigantic advantage that is like the fucking gold rush of the world right now, and that is the ability to understand what makes viral content. Most of you don't think that you actually have this skill. Most of you walk around thinking that, you know, like I've never made content before, I'm not an influencer. Some people, these people just must have brains for it. But actually, in reality, if you are relatively smart and you know what 115 plus IQ and you have spent, you know, like 2 hours a day scrolling TikTok and Instagram Reels, your brain has actually processed, you literally have the algorithmic machine learning model in your head for what makes a viral video. You know when to scroll off a video, you know how to look at a video and say like, yeah, I never watched this shit. Give me back my Reddit stories on top of Subway Surfers. And one of the most surprising things that you'll learn if you really talk to a bunch of old people about content specifically is that they actually don't know. Most 35-year-olds, even the ones who work in marketing, will literally sit down and watch the most boring 45-minute long documentary and think, wow, that was the most entertaining shit of my life. They don't understand the level of fucking like attention grabby, whatever bullshit you need to actually make a video that is watchable in the modern day of scrolling among the youth. But you have that skill. No matter what anybody says, if you're 115 plus IQ and like you have to know that you're 115 plus IQ and you actually spend time scrolling, your brain has already processed it. You are young. This is the one thing that you can do. And that's great because that is almost the only skill you need to know when you're trying to market a product. Because really, when you're trying to make money selling software, there's only two things you gotta do. You gotta build the software to sell, and then you gotta go out and fucking sell the software. And selling the software is so easy when you can make content. If you could just reliably, you could press a button that gets 1 million people to watch your thing, to view your product, and you just spam the fuck out of that button. Even if you have the shittiest conversion, the shittiest website, the shittiest product, eventually someone's gonna go and someone's gonna buy your $60 a month subscription. You just keep spamming the button long enough, then you'll make money. Because remember, it only takes a few $1 million. And the only determiner of whether you're able to make that money is if you are able to spam this button. Is this button spammable for you? And I'm telling you right now, like the first most important thing you need to realize guys, is as a 115 plus IQ person under the age of 28 who has over 2 hours of screen time on Instagram or TikTok, you have the ability. The button is right there. You just gotta fucking press it. And another thing is, I hate when people say like, oh my God, so you're just never gonna build anything useful for anybody in the world. Like, no, because if you start with a payment link, you know, if you start with the payment link to something shitty and you keep staying on the view button, you'll actually learn like, here's what people are paying for. When they do pay, you're gonna be flooded with customer support requests. Like people will be upset at you because your product is so shit, and you're actually going to have to go back and fix the bugs. And then when you actually talk to any of these people, they will tell you like, here's the reason why I paid, here's what I paid for. And even in making the videos, like you will learn some of your videos go way more viral than others. Like if you start talking about, oh, this product is a Bible chat app that I built and it's just fucking like ChatGPT clone, and that video goes super viral, then you will learn like, oh fuck, like maybe this is an interesting part of the market that I should start building more towards, this Bible chat app. Okay, now let me give a more proper case for software, and I'll use some of my story here. So my first company that I actually ended up making quite a bit of money on was called Interview Coder, and it was probably my 9th software product at this point, but it was the only one that ended up making me a significant amount of money. Here's what happens. I am a CS major. I don't know shit about any enterprises. I tried to make a bunch of companies before that are trying to target different sectors of the economy, like fucking liquor distributors and like restaurants and like fucking like researchers. I don't know shit about any of that, so I can't make a good product in any of those fields. All I know is, you know, I'm a CS major. A bunch of my friends are trying to get internships and they have to do this weird technical interview called a LeetCode interview. So I take the only thing in the entire world that I know is fucking LeetCode interviews, and I build a tool that lets you ace your LeetCode interviews by cheating with an undetectable little screen widget. It's a really shitty tool. It's essentially just ChatGPT that sees your screen. Extremely simple to build, and I built it literally over the course of 2 weeks, 100% with AI, by the way, and I launched it. You know, like this was a shitty tool in the only space that I knew, but this ended up making me millions of dollars because I knew how to market it. I knew actually that after I built this extremely simple tool, the way to get a bunch of money is to get a bunch of people to download, is to get a bunch of people to see that I built this interesting tool, this semi-interesting tool. And the way that I chose to do that was by recording myself using it on an Amazon interview, like an actual interview to be an intern at Amazon. I recorded myself using it, passing the interview, and then I uploaded it online, and this went super mega viral in the world of technology. The biggest takeaway from my first company, and for me, for you, for anybody listening to the story, should be that you can build something extremely simple, and if you can just spam the fucking 1 million views per video button, then you can just fucking print, because it actually did make me millions of dollars in profit. My next company was also largely based around this exact idea. You know, as soon as I launched Interview Coder, I decided, you know what? I have the fucking button. Let me see what else I can like spam the button with. So I built Interview Coder, but instead of LeetCode interviews, it was like for other random shit. I said for everything, you know, like clearly the product you can use to cheat on everything. Like I don't even know what the fuck that meant, but I just figured, you know what? Like there's a very small net that I'm casting here. I'm hitting the 1 mil view button, and there's a million people every day who are viewing this product, but there's a very, very tiny portion who have LeetCode interviews for tech jobs. What would happen if I just said fucking everything? Like whatever, like let's just see if I can build this thing. Just say it's for everything, have like the shittiest product ever that I'm vibe code in 3 weeks, and let's just put it out into the world. And that's exactly what I did. And my first video got 11 million views, or like 13 million views. And then every single subsequent video I made kept getting millions and millions of views. And the whole time the product did not work. We did not have proper audio transcription. We didn't do anything that I said that we said it could do. And yet it was still dead ass printing me millions. If you have the button, the 1 million views button, like most people really don't understand how fucking OP the ability of content is in the world. In no universe ever would I have been able to put out the product that I did at the time of launch, which was really, really shitty, really broken, and been able to generate anywhere near the millions of dollars that I actually did make with that shitty broken product. It would have been impossible had I not had this button. And it's really hard for the human brain to actually comprehend these big, massive numbers, but social media has really, truly democratized the world. You hear people say, wow, Instagram has made everyone think that everyone is supposed to be a supermodel and given everyone insecurities, and like genuinely that is so much truer than you think. You only see, you know, maybe like 100 to 200 influencers regularly in the entire world. Like your brain has been programmed to think that there's only a few relevant people. The 150 influencers that you follow and whose content you watch, those are the only people that actually exist in your mind. This is so vastly different from how the world was, you know, like 20, 30 years ago, or even like how the world was like 20,000 years ago. When we were cavemen, we lived in tribes of like 150 people. And when someone told you something, when one of the 150 people in your universe told you something, you took that as fact. You had to rep guard so viciously as a caveman, because if five members of the tribe decide to walk around saying like, yo, this guy's a weirdo, then you're excluded and you're dying, you're starving, you're dying in the cold in the winter. So it's extremely important to monitor the voices and the shit that people are saying of the 150 people that you actually determine to be in your tribe, you know, like your close village. And the human monkey brain is still wired this way. That's what the human brain is designed to do. We were not designed to live in these algorithm-based worlds, but the benefit of that is that if you can actually manage to be that voice, that 150, that 1 out of 150 person who says, yo, like this new hairspray is kind of like great, like this is is some great W hairspray. You can manage to be that for not just 149 other people. With social media, you can manage to be that for millions of people. And I don't know how clearly I've made that point come across, but genuinely, with the power of content, you can pretty much just be whispering in the ear of literally millions of people. And every single thing that I've done has been just a testament to the fact that content can make you millions of dollars. There's no product I've built so far that has been like massively technologically differentiated from anything else in the market. There's actually no product I built so far. You know, I didn't build GPT-6. I didn't build like fucking anything ridiculously crazy. I built like very simple products and I just fucking spam the shit out of these 1 million view binds. And you can too. Like once you know that you have the skill, the only thing left to do is to actually like try and click the button for the first time. And make your first piece of content because you actually do know a lot better than other people like how to make content. And try very hard to make your first subscription-based software product. Like it really is that simple. And what you will also realize when you do two of these things, like both of these things in conjunction, is that there's literally no one in the world who's doing either of those things. So that's the first half of the Roy Lee method, you know, build a software product and spam your 1 million views a video button. Ask yourself honestly, of all the people that you know in all your friends and family, how many people have done one of those two things? How many people do you know who have actually put up 100 videos online, 100 short form videos? It takes what, like a minute to record a short form video and upload it online? How many people do you know that have taken 100 minutes to record themselves and put up 100 videos online? You probably know, if you are really surrounded by content creators, like you maybe know 3. So nobody's making content. And then ask yourself also, how many people do you know that have actually, like, if you said, yo, have you ever built some software that I can pay for? How many people do you know in your entire circle of everybody that you know, of all the friends of friends, all the mutuals that you have that have actually done this before? And the answer is going to be probably like fucking like 2. And this is such a huge mindset shift you need to overcome because it's really, really hard to understand that this is true when you are starting out. I remember when I was at Columbia building companies, and I would hear this advice all the time. Out here, you actually have no competition. You just need to power through, and like most people are not going to make it through to the end. But still, I would be overwhelmed just thinking like, dude, it's going to be so hard for me to actually build a company because my competition is actually like, you know, like maybe nobody in college is doing this shit, but there's a bunch of 28-year-old indie hackers out there from fucking Russia who are doing this, and they're a lot smarter than me and they're a lot more experienced than me. What do I know that they don't know? But like in reality, if you are, again, this is why the Roy Lee method is very important, that you are 115 plus IQ. If you are actually 115 plus IQ under the age of 28, then it's pretty much the same thing as your competition being a bunch of 14-year-olds, like a bunch of freshman girls. But wow, that's actually a great analogy. Imagine you are competing in the world of business with a bunch of 14-year-old high school freshmen. How confident would you feel that, like, yeah, I'm gonna like literally demolish the fuck out of these high school freshmen, and then I'm gonna give them some life advice after I'm at it because they are so retarded, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That is the actual state of the world that you're living in. This is such a truly hard mental thing to get over, to actually realize and like convince yourself that, you know what, these people are fucking retarded. These people have the IQ of high school freshman females. Voids. To actually convince yourself of that is very hard, but when you do, then it makes it so much easier to do the only 2 things that you have to do, which is build a shitty software product that just get a purchase link out there, and once you have the purchase link, spam the fuck out of the view button. It really is that simple. The only reason that it's not being done by you, the only reason the Roy Lee method isn't being deployed by every single 115 plus IQ sub 28-year-old in the fucking world right now, it's because they can't do the first 2 things. Build something shitty, give me a payment link and fucking make videos. Give me a payment link and make videos. So yeah, like truly the second half of the Roy Lee method is do whatever it takes to build up some ego, you know? Do whatever it takes to get yourself to a point where you can actually convince yourself that you are capable of doing these things. Because honestly, like genuinely ask yourself, if it was me versus Amy Tran, you versus Amy Tran, build a better company. Do you genuinely think that you're gonna lose to Amy Tran? Okay, if you think you're gonna lose this high school freshman girl, then like fucking log off, go see a therapist, do whatever it takes to like reset your factory settings and build up some ego as a fucking man, because that's embarrassing. You would not think that you would lose, because why in the fucking world would you lose to some girl who hasn't even who hasn't even had a fucking boyfriend yet? Why in the world would you lose to this person? It would be so ridiculous. You should be laughing at the thought of you losing. And that actually is not just how delusionally confident you need to be in the real world. You will learn when you actually do it. It's not fucking delusional confidence at all. That's the state of the world. These people that you're competing with are fucking retarded. They're all high school freshman girls. Mentally, essentially. And it would just make you so much more confident, wouldn't it? Like if the competition is just make better content, or actually content might be the one thing. This is what I'm saying, it's important to be young. Content might be the one thing that you might be scared to compete with against a high school freshman girl. If the task was literally anything, you know, like build a better house, design this page better, like you're always gonna think like, yeah, I'm gonna beat this child. And once you have that ego, then it becomes so easy to do the 2 things that you have to do. Build some shitty thing, get a payment link out there, and spam the fuck out of the view button. There's so much feedback that you'll get from making content content and seeing the views come in and seeing the conversions come in, and there's so much feedback that you will get from people actually like paying for your really shitty product, that it is inevitable that it's going to improve in some way, in some metric. One day you'll wake up and realize like, oh, this is not so ass. And if all you want in life is to get rich quick and you don't need to be a billionaire, you just want to, you know, have the term like richness, then you only need a few mil, and that's actually so fucking easy. It's so fucking easy to make 3 mil in a world where nobody's building anything, nobody has any purchase links out, and the only people who have purchase links out don't know how to fucking make a reel. It's so easy to win. Genuinely, always remind yourself you are competing against a bunch of freshmen, high school freshmen. So go out there, dominate, maybe that's not the right word. Go go win the competition against these high school freshman girls, because it really is the case. Get a payment link out. If you can't get a payment link out within 1 week of watching this video, you're never gonna make it, and you're doomed in your second life to be reincarnated in the worst dirty slums of India, because you don't have what it takes, and spiritually you are a lazy piece of shit who is never gonna make it in life because you never had it in you to begin with. You neither have the ego, the default factory setting ego of a man, nor do you have the conviction and hard work and diligence to get anything done ever, nor do you have the balls to actually accomplish anything that you will ever want in your life. So be prepared to be a fucking snail in Bangladesh in your next life. Or get a payment link out and start making content and get rich. That, my friends, is the Roy Lee method. I will see you all next week.